everyone. Thank you for viewing my YouTube channel. My name is Tawanda, but my friends call me TuTu, and I love to create. So we're going to continue where we left off with starting to put our shirt together. So you're going to need your front, back, sleeve of the garment, and of course the directions. I will need the directions because the shirt is simple enough to put together. Okay. So, have my front. I'm going to grab a sleeve. Now remember I mentioned about the notches, like making sure you mark the front and the back of the sleeve. Okay. So I did one cut. I don't know if you can see it or not, but one cut to recognize it as being the front part of the sleeve, and double cuts to recognize it as being the back part of the sleeve. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pin the front of my shirt and the front part of the sleeve together, and then I'm going to sew. So how I sew my knits, I use a narrow zigzag, and the reason being is that narrow zigzag allows the garment to stretch. I do not use a serger for sewing my knits because I've over the years developed a technique that works for me where I don't have to have a serger, but I do have my serger. I tend to use it on non-knit fabrics, and also if say I'm building like a dancer costume or a costume that's someone's gonna do a lot of stretching and movement in it, I would then serge the edges because of that. But otherwise, like most cosplayers that wear my costumes, they'll stand around, do some poses, but nobody's doing like flips and jumps and anything like that would cause like major stress on the seams. Okay. All right. Okay, I like to do one side at a time. Alright, let's see. Okay, I need a little bit more light. Alright. Now my seam width I'm using, I told you I use like 1/2 inch normally. But yeah. So let's see, I'm going to adjust my width and length of my zigzag because I want a narrow one. The narrower the zigzag, the less likely you'll be able to see the stitching when you pull the seams apart. All right. Now, because this telebuck skin, the side that I'm using as the inside, I'm having a little bit trouble going over it. So I'm going to see how it's going to work. If not, then I need to change my presser foot to a different kind. Because I hit a pin. Alright, let me change the needle and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. So I decided that I'm going to change my presser foot to this walking foot. Okay. And the reason being is that the walking foot is going to allow this fabric to go over the feed dog much more easily. And I'm not sure, I think this walking foot probably costs like maybe $20 or $30, but it's a really good investment. When you want to sew fabrics such as leather, pleather, anything with a coating on top like vinyl, fur. Let's see, I've sewn through about 6 layers of fabric before. So it's a very, very good investment. And it's a universal walking foot, presser foot. Alright. So to install it, you have to completely take off your presser foot and the little mechanism thing that it attaches to. Alright. Now, the catch is with this little piece here has to go where the thumb screw is that you used to take the needle in and out. Okay, once you got it on there, screw it, make sure it's really tight. And the good thing about this walking foot is you can still do your zigzag stitching. Alright. If you want, you can do a little tester on a sample piece of fabric to make sure your stitch is still good, because sometimes with the walking foot, it causes the stitches to be too big, so that means that you have to adjust your length and your width. For me, I'm going to want to make it a little bit narrower. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, and don't worry about it messing up your timing, because sometimes the walking foot will mess up your timing, but I've used the walking foot quite a bit, and my timing on my machine is still good. Alright, so you can see on the back of here that my stitching is still pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to continue sewing the front of the sleeves to the front of my shirt. So hopefully this time it'll go a little bit faster and I won't break a needle. So the walking foot is able to sew over pins as well. That's a good thing about that. I'm not sure why it took me. I had actually that walking foot for maybe 5 years, and it took me, I started using it last summer. I don't know why. So, but I'm glad I went ahead and was using it, and I understand how to use it, and it makes my life a lot easier when trying to sew bulky items. And the first costume that I used it on was my Rocket the Raccoon reimagined for a client. I had to make like the backpack. Let's see, the backpack, the ears for the wig, the tail, the pants, the vest, and the shirt. That was a very intricate costume. But the client was happy. That was my first time like really working with foam. Alright. let's try this again. Much easier. Yeah, you see, like, it's going a lot faster now. All right. Okay, now it's time for me to sew the back of my sleeve. So this is what the front, I don't know if you can see it, looks like. Okay. Now it's time to sew the back. Now my back, I decided to not do anything to it because I don't know, I couldn't decide actually what design I wanted back, so I decided to leave it blank. Alright, so now we're going to attach the back to the back part of the sleeves, matching the right sides, and pin them. So I'm going to go ahead and once I get them pinned up, I'm going to sew both of the sides of the back to the sides of the back of the sleeves, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm almost finished now sewing the back. I just got to do one more seam, and that will be it. And then we will start on the collar. But we will start on the collar, like sew it together, but we will not stitch it down yet. At least I won't, because I still have to add my silver pieces around the collar area first. Now what takes the longest in sewing is the preparation, because the actual sewing the garment together, most of the time it goes relatively fast, but the preparation, that means cutting out the fabric, preparing all your pieces, marking everything, that takes the most time when it comes to sewing. Take all the pins out. Alright, so I'm going to move my sewing machine. So I won't need that right now. Alright, so I'm not sure if you can see this or not, because it's tonal. But this is kind of what it looks like. So I have my front here and my sleeves, okay, and then this is my neck hole. Now, like I said, for me, I need to design, figure out where I'm going to put all of my little silver claw marks. All right, I'm gonna stop right here, and the next video is going to be about putting on the collar and how to do the hem of the bottom part of the shirt and how to hem the sleeve. And I just want to show you how I hem stretch fabric. Okay, see you guys soon.